Nigeria, Back to the Future. There is something nostalgic and refreshing about Nigeria's past. A few months ago, the National Assembly went back to the archives, unearthed and revived the national anthem of Nigeria at independence in 1960. At independence, Nigeria had several great leaders, but one stood out for his vision. His works and his achievements can serve as models even today, and his dream for Nigeria as a compass to the future. I asked 5 young educated persons in my Wasimi what they know about Chief Jeremiah Obafemi Awolowo. Their response shocked me to the marrow. They know the name, but nothing more. My humble response to that encounter is this week's conversation on 90 Minutes with Mathematical. It is an entirely academic exercise without an iota of political, ethnic, or religious motivation. His story is of a man that left massive footprints on the Nigerian landscape. In sports, he built the first ultra-modern sports complex in West Africa. Liberty Stadium in Ibadan had a unique underground entrance into the main bowl. 3 years later, in 1963, the stadium hosted the first world boxing title fight between Nigeria's Dick Tiger and America's Gene Fullmer in Africa before a global audience. The feat was achieved by the deployment of WNTV, the first television station in Africa, ahead of many European countries at the time. Beyond sports, he established many other firsts. He is almost deified by his people. A respected leader of a different ethnicity once described him as the best president Nigeria never had. Chief Jeremiah Obafemi Awolowo's vision and deeds were benchmarks of leadership and development across Nigeria. Such a rich reservoir of creative thinking, innovation, vision, strategy, and leadership at that time must have come from a place that is different from where Nigerian leaders find themselves today, trapped in a conundrum with legacies lost and a path to greatness laden with uncertainty. Are there any lessons to be learnt from the life of Chief Obafemi Awolowo and past leaders of his era? Can they become our models of good conduct and exemplary leadership? Can the present and future leaders drink from the fountain of life of Awolowo? On 90 Minutes with Mathematical this Saturday morning, we x-ray the life of Chief Awolowo only as a reference to that era. What works did Awolowo do? What kind of man and leader was he? What was his lifestyle like? What influenced his worldview as well as those of his contemporaries? What were his dreams about Nigeria? How did he see the future of Nigeria? Beyond politics, what can present-day leaders learn from Chief Awolowo and his colleagues? Of course, these are hypothetical questions. As we attempt to provide some answers, I am hoping the process will stimulate critical thinking, arouse interest among scholars of Nigeria's history, and help to guide the present generation of leaders into a possible new future. There are only a handful of people still alive that knew Chief Awolowo well enough in those days to realistically lead us into his mind and his world. Odia Ofemum, writer and dramatist, is one of them. The other is Professor Banji Akintoye, foremost scholar on African history He spent his useful years under the tutelage of the sage. On 90 Minutes with Mathematical this Saturday morning, I shall be sharing the entire time with the erudite Yoruba scholar, Professor Akintoye, on Eagle 7 Sports Radio, 103.7 FM. Listen